If you want to learn today how to install and launch your own Ollama API server on AWS Ubuntu, you are in the right place. Today I'm going to show you a step-by-step tutorial how to launch AWS Ubuntu server, how to install Ollama, and how to download Llama 3.2 model or any other model that you want, together with Python FastAPI library, and eventually making your own ChatGPT API privately and secure on your own server. So you are in the right place. Stay tuned, we are about to start, and feel free to follow for more amazing tutorials. Hello everyone and welcome back. So in order to start our Ollama API tutorial, this is all the things that we need. First of all, we need an AWS account because we're doing everything on AWS. Second of all, I'm going to share with you my GitHub repository with the Ollama API script with the Python and FastAPI library. So you will be able to follow also the tutorial there, the documentation, and to see how you can install it by yourself too. It's going to be on our description. Next, also we're gonna use Ollama. It's not something that you guys need. I'm just gonna share with you the URL, and this is what we're gonna use. And this is all the model that you can also use and download on your Ubuntu server. And this is how the model is called, the token size, sorry, the parameter size, and everything. And lastly, I already published last time a video on how to install and run Ollama with Web UI using Docker. So you can watch this tutorial too. It will give you an insight of what we're gonna do today. But you don't have to watch that. You can also just follow this tutorial. We cover everything. It's gonna give you insight on all the things that you need in order to run your own Ollama API server on AWS. So let's start our first step with creating a security group. So we're gonna go to AWS. Inside AWS, we're gonna go to our security group and we're gonna do create security group. We're gonna call our security group Ollama security group. Very easy. Okay, let's copy and paste it to the description. And here we only need to allow inbounds for the port 3000. This is the port that the web UI that we're gonna use together with Ollama export. So it's port 3000 and that's it. And in order to log into our EC2 that we're gonna launch, we're gonna use SSM option. So we don't need SSH port. Next step is generating or creating IAM role. So we need to create IAM role in order to log in to our EC2 instance. So let's go and create rule. Once you press in here, you're gonna choose AWS service as a trusted entity type. And here in the use case, you need to choose EC2. Okay, and let's go down and do next. Here you need to search for Amazon SSM manageable instance core. Okay, once you search that, you have this policy, check it and do next. And let's create a role, Ollama SSM role. Let's see that all the details are okay. And let's just press create role. So we created a security group, we created IAM role. And by the way guys, we just want to update that we are working on mastering AWS Cloud course. It's like AWS Bootcamp for beginner, where you will learn AWS Cloud by building and deploying scalable web application using 3 different architecture, the most wanted and demanded architecture of AWS. You have the EC2 instance architecture, you have the serverless architecture, and you have the container architecture. This course is designed especially for beginners who want to gain the confidence of AWS Endzone and get hired easily. You can check it now in the YouTube description below. Okay, so let's go to the next step of launching EC2 Ubuntu instance in order to host our own ChatGPT privately and secure using Ollama and Web UI. So I'm gonna choose launching an instance, and in the name I'm gonna just add Ollama private app. Okay, very straightforward. Next, after the name, the OS that we're gonna use, usually I'm using Ubuntu, so also here I'm gonna use Ubuntu as our OS 2024 or 24. This is the newest OS for Ubuntu. We're gonna leave the architecture the same. And here is very important for me to say, in order to run a Llama or Ollama or any LLM that it starts with 7 billion key, you have to have at least minimum 8 giga of memory. Otherwise, the instance is not gonna move and everything will be stuck. And even with this option, because we are using CPU and not GPU, it's not gonna be as fast, and you're gonna see it soon, but it's still gonna be okay. In the key, we're not gonna choose a key, we're gonna use our SSM option, and here the security group, we're gonna use the security group that we just created, the Ollama security group, okay? And here we're gonna give like 50 gigabyte or 30 gigabyte. No, let's do 50 gigabyte. Because all the LLM have a lot of weight, they like starting from 3-4 gigabyte and above, so we want to have space to our tutorial for our machine. Here I'm gonna use the IAM instance role that we just created, the Ollama SSM role, in order to connect to our instance without using SSH and PAM key. It's very easy, very smoothly. Once we launch in our instance, it will take like few seconds for it to be available for us. So let's go and open the instance. And this is how simple it is to connect to Ubuntu instance using SSM. I'm going to show you very soon. So you're just choosing that, you're pressing connect. Here in the connect, you're going to session manager. This is the SSM role that we created one step before. And that's it. You have SSH to your machine, but it's online. You don't need to secure a key or something like that. It's very easy, very straightforward. So I hope you learned something. Here we want to use sudo su Ubuntu in order to log in to the Ubuntu user. Otherwise, it's using the SSM agent and it's not going to help us. Okay, so our next step after we launch the AWS Ubuntu server is to install Ollama on Ubuntu. This step is very simple and very easy. All we need to do here is just to run one Ollama command. But because we have a very fresh server, we're gonna run a few other commands in order to make it update with all the relevant patch and security package by Ubuntu. So let's go to our Ollama API repository. And here, as I said, we have the documentation for all the steps in order for you to install and run Ollama API. Okay, I'm gonna share the URL also in our repository, in our description of the YouTube video. So this is the step we are right now, install Ollama. So here, first of all, we're gonna update our Ubuntu server, and then we're gonna install the Ollama. Okay, you can follow everything in the description. It's very straightforward. So let's go and copy the first command, sudo apt update. Basically, this command is just updating our machine with the latest package and security. You don't need to run it if you don't want. It's just like a habit that we have, always like making sure our server is updated with the latest changes. Okay, next we're gonna copy and run sudo apt upgrade. Okay, here we are shifting the video to run very fast. It's usually taking like 1 minute, but we're gonna do it in like few seconds. Okay, great. And next we're gonna install one more package that will help us to run the Ollama API. We're gonna install the Python virtual environment. Here, yeah, I forgot to add sudo. So when you're running this command, just use sudo. Here with sudo it's working, and type yes, and that's it. Okay, we are done. And now we can go and install Ollama service. Okay, so last time, in the last video, we did it with Docker. It was a little bit longer. This time we could just use the command of installing Ollama on Linux. It's just one command and it will doing everything automatically because we're not using Docker. So let's just go and copy this command and let's paste it to our Ubuntu server. And again, here it will take a few minutes, but because we already record the video, we edit it so it will be faster. So you will see the change after a few seconds, and that's it. You saw just one command, and Ollama is running already. The service is running on our system right now on port 11434. And once you type in Ollama, you can see all the Ollama service command. You have the create, you have the option to run, to stop, to pull new model, have a list of all the model. Okay, so let's go now and download the latest model of Llama 3.2. You can choose also other model if you guys want, as I showed you a few minutes ago. Okay, so this is one of the command, Ollama run Llama 3.2, or you can do also Ollama pull Llama 3.2. And while it's downloading the model, let's go and see all the model that we have from the Ollama repository. So as you can see, we have like, I think like almost 20 model, but we have even more. But here are the ones that are more famous. And here you can see what kind of resource your server need to have, depend on the parameter size. Because we are using only the Llama 3.2 with 3 billion parameter, 8 gigabyte RAM of AWS EC2 server, it's enough for us. So the Ollama have been downloaded, and as you can see, it's already running on our computer, on our server. We just gonna escape this because we don't need the chat, we don't need the desktop option, we just need the API. So let's go and check that if we're doing a call request with our local host, everything is working. So we pass the command, press enter, and as you can see, we are getting answer from our Ollama with Llama 3.2, and everything is working perfectly. So now the next step for us will be to install the Ollama API code, the Python code. Okay, so again, you're just going to our repository, doing the second step now, install Ollama API. And in order to do this, you are copying or cloning the GitHub repository that we prepare in advance. Okay, once it's copied, we're gonna do cd to this folder, and we see that we have all the file there. Okay, we have all the file, as you can see here too. And let's go over just to show you what is the file and what is basically the main app or the API code that we are gonna use. So in our API, we are using FastAPI library of Python, and we have three main API endpoints. The first one is API generate. The second one is to download a model if you want, and the last one is also to get a list of all the models that we have in our server. Now this is the main code that you need to focus on, but because we took it one step in advance, we also want to support stream. Okay, we want to give you the option to getting the getting the response from the server the same way that the ChatGPT is answering you. So we also supporting stream and not stream, and those are the functions that you have on the top of the Python file, on the main.python file. So we're just gonna go over this very fast. So as you can see, we are using the pandentic in order to structure our query parameter, and we always sending stream will always be true. So we always the default will be true. We can also control the model name. Here it's Llama 2, but we're gonna send a different model name, and also the prompt. And those are all the library that I install. And here we have the two functions that we are using in the API generate endpoint. Again, one is supporting stream. The second one is not supporting stream. And you're gonna see this very, very soon. We are sending response that support both of those options. So once we did the CD, now let's go and install our Python library or models. So we're gonna go and create a virtual environment and activate it. Okay, we can delete this comment. Okay, perfect. Let's clear. Now let's go back. So we're gonna run this command in order to install all the Python packages that we need in order to support our Ollama API. Pay attention that we're using UVcorn here. UVcorn is a Python web server that will help us to launch our API. Okay, so this is why we're having this command too. And by the way, we also have video about how to use Python and UVcorn separately, so you can check our YouTube videos, and I will also share a link in the description. So once we copy this command and basically activate our server, as you can see, our Ollama server now is listening to requests from all over the world with a port 3000. Okay, so now you can use again the documentation that we shared and basically start to send curl requests. So I'm gonna use my local terminal in order to create a request, API request to my server in AWS. The only one thing that we need to change in those curl command is the IP or the host name, because we are using a server now. It's not localhost anymore. It's the IP of the server or even the domain name. And as you can see, we basically got an answer. Our server responds with 200, and the answer is, that you can see, is the list of the model. And we have only Llama 3.2 model, so we got only one record. If you're gonna have more model, you're gonna get more model in the response. Next, let me show you how it's work basically once facing each other, the server and the client. So right now we have both of them in one page, in one screen. So I'm gonna make now another request, but this time I'm gonna use the generate command, basically the generative AI, that this is why we're using Ollama basically. So here we are doing a call request that's supporting stream with minus a capital N. And here we are changing again the local host to the IP of our server. Okay, let's pass. And we're basically sending a post request with the model name and also what is our prompt. The prompt is, what is your name? A very simple prompt. Once we're pressing enter, we can see that the API got our request, processing it, and now we are streaming, like ChatGPT, we are streaming the response back to our server, sorry, to our client. You can support this one, or you can support also one response, and that's it, like not streaming response, as you're gonna see very, very soon. So our server working, our API working, I just make a request from my client to the server that is sitting on AWS with Ubuntu OS. Here, let's make another prompt request. How can you help me with developing Ollama? So as you can see, we got the response, and now it's streaming the request to us. Isn't this amazing, guys? This is exactly what you're asking for, and we are giving it to you with a spoon to your mouth without doing anything. Just follow, subscribe, comment, like, share with other people so they can learn too. Next, we're gonna do another command, another generate command, but this time it's not gonna be a stream. We want to get the answer at one shot, okay? So let's clear everything, let's pass the command, and let's again change the local host to the IP of the server. And by the way, it can be a domain server with HTTPS, with SSL. We're gonna show that too if you guys want in a few more minutes. Okay, so we making the request, the server accept the request as you can see here, 200 OK, and it's sending us a response, but this time it's not streaming, it's just a one response. So all the code that you're gonna see in the main.python is there in order to process everything and giving you the right answer immediately, instead of sending you too many responses at once. Okay, so this is all the API thing. You can also add your own API request. You can change it, you can modify it, you can do whatever you want. But basically, once you follow this tutorial, you can make your own Ollama API. And here you can also learn how to install SSL. So in one of our tutorial, we also share how to make a Node.js with Nginx web server in order to give you a free SSL. You can follow this tutorial and you can have your own Ollama API with SSL with your own domain. And if you guys will really insist and you're gonna comment that you want us also to show you how to make the Ollama API with a domain with SSL, with a free SSL, we can do that too. Just leave a comment below, and if you're gonna see that there is a request, we're gonna launch a next video about this. So give us your opinion, feel free to ask questions, and basically we reach to the end of our tutorial. I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys are gonna learn a lot of it, and please follow, subscribe, and leave comment below. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching and follow to the rest of the video. Please like, subscribe, and leave comment below, and keep following because I'm gonna release more and more amazing videos about AI, about AWS, about DevOps, about a lot of interesting stuff. Thank you so much.